It was the Achilles kryptonite.
The Achilles kryptonite and the thorn in the camel's back. Or the thorn that broke the camel's back. One of the two. Either one. I actually like our phrases. I like putting them together, not knowing what to say, and just shotgunning words out. It works well.
The best one was the Rammus piling on all the speeds.
I think that
one's the only one that worked, and yeah, so.
When it's so bad, it's good. Only Riv can do it, apparently. Guys, we are into the game, though. The picks and bans coming through. It's funny that now, like, Ari's the one must ban against TSM. You're like, man, Karthus is scary. TF's scary. It's like, no, frickin' remove Ari. We'll go from there. The Sona away from Expecial. And, of course, the Elise and Evelyn drop from Cloud9. Also strong choices.
It's very interesting to see what the bans are going to evolve into against Cloud9 because Meteos has been playing carry junglers during Super Week, but they had so much success with him on the tank junglers and the heavy CC junglers. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that he'll still be going with the carry junglers because he's had amazing scores. He's having a lot of fun getting kills. Yeah, and I'm guessing that this is going to be a Shen for balls instead of a Shen for Meteos. Yeah, I don't think he's Cloud Templar here, but it's funny though, you talk about the types of champions played, right? No Zac ban, no Nasus ban, no Ashe ban. I mean, okay, they got Zed, that's like the one you expect to see, but like, there's no Kennen, there's no like these standard bans from the first like 90% of the split, not even looked at here. So it's just fun to see the evolution as the teams learn each other more. I forget if I said Rumble, but that was actually the one that stood out to me the most. So TSM now, 20 seconds to go on their picks. Some of their core spots have been dropped away, but the Twitch is up, the Karthus is up, the Twisted Fate is up. A lot of their favorites are still here. The Karthus especially is one that Reggie's gone back to over and over again. But it does kind of just give away the type of game that you want to play. And if you give Cloud9 too much, then they will change their composition to take advantage of that. Well, maybe you've got the chance for it here. Yeah. I mean, no, you refuse to be trolled. So Meteos has this infatuation with Jungle Brand, but a burning passion, you might say. You would say that. I would say that. But Cloud9. The entire rest of the team has said they will not, under any circumstances, let him play that in the jungle. So we're going to let that one go. The jungle brand. And it's probably going to be another carry jungler, I think. Brand is a carry. And that would work really well with having a Shen top lane, because if Meteos ever gets himself into trouble, then he can have a Ninja at his back. That's nice to see. They actually might run the double Ninja, of course. Kennen's still available as well. I mean, he's taken the whole 60 seconds to hover over Brand. Your heart has been hardened, by the way. You were so excited to see Kassadin. Yes! I mean, what if that's Jungle Kassadin? It'll be a mid lane Zac and a jungle Kassadin. So there's the Zac that we had seen all throughout the beginning of the split. It's back here, and of course the Kassadin, actually one of the newer pickups for High. He's gonna grab that and just teleport all over the map. All right, so pretty conventional picks here so far. This is looking much closer to what Cloud9 ran in recent history. And it's actually very tank heavy for them. So they're definitely going to need a high DPS AD carry. I don't know if they'll go with the Ashe that they've been using over and over, because they're probably going to need a little bit more mid-game damage. Kassadin is one that likes to flank around the side and doesn't have a lot of sustained damage. So something like a Vayne would actually provide a lot more of the core damage that Cloud9 need right here. Yeah, it was really the niche that Draven had filled for a long time. His damage from his passive and such were so high, but no, they're actually just going to go for, these champions have worked for us before, we're going to go for them again, and again, this was their playstyle, saying, look, we'll pick the champions that we know work, and then we'll formulate our plan during the rest of the end of champ select and figure out our strengths and weaknesses. And by the way, everyone also picked their own champions here. There's no swapping for Cloud9 whatsoever. They've got so much control with this composition. It's hard for them to get away from it. So they're going right back to that Ashe Zyra. Again, my favorite part about that combo is the fact that you get vision from the seeds and from the Hawkshot, so you get to save money on wards. I always like pointing that out because carry Zyra. I love saving money. I run like 5.3 gold per 10. TSM doing the exact same thing. They're playing a very TSM-esque comp. Yeah, we've seen this exact composition from them multiple times already in the LCS. And here we go. It is champions we are not surprised to see really on both sides here. These guys playing their
There's standard stuff here. The game doesn't seem to mean much for the standings, but certainly these teams still giving it their all, playing the champions that they are known for, the champions that they are great with. And yeah, we've broken down these teams before, but it's Cloud9. Yeah. They've got control, they've got mobility, they can start a fight, or man, can they? And TSM, dude, Reggie's going to farm up a storm in the mid lane. He's going to give him the globals.
So the interesting part about this game is probably going to be where the lane matches pan out, because Cloud9 are probably going to be looking to get high into that Reginald lane somehow so they can have that Kassadin-Karthus matchup very early. And that's really the most interesting part about these two teams, because like these two comps have gone up against each other so many times. This easily could have been a game that we casted a month ago, the exact same compositions.
Yeah, and they're even scrim partners too. They're primary opponents of each other for practice. So you look at Cloud9 on your screen and you just see determination, right? Like they're getting down to business. Kind of same thing here. Wild Turtle, by the way, not smiling right now. This is an imposter. This is not real Wild Turtle. He was not grinning ear to ear, so
Super Weak
has
not been kind to Wild Turtle.
No, he is. I mean, he's still wild. He flashed into the enemy base to pick up a kill on Edward, but he's angry and wild.
Hope that Reggie can keep Wild Turtle entertained, because if Wild Turtle gets bored again,
dude's flashing
who knows
into the base.
What's going to happen?
Proxy Twitch. we see it from Singed. We haven't seen it too much from Twitch.
Pray a whole minion wave? That's immediate clear, so strong.
Think about it. You can stand on one side, throw the Venom Cask on the other, aggro the other minion lane. You can pull all three, and then you get the spray and pray clear. It's a good strat. You can stealth into the base. There's so many good reasons to run this Wild Turtle.
You're giving away TSM secrets right now. What are you
And then Thresh pulls him back in the end. I'm 3 steps ahead of everyone here, guys. Here we are into the game. Cloud9 in blue, TSM in red. The top 3 teams in North America, you're seeing them on your screen right here, and they've been looking good. Both these teams 3-1 so far in Super Week, have had great records here. Only one of them's going to go 4-1. One of them's going to go 3-2. See what these guys end up going for. TSM with a clever little build. Got a ward over the wall, and they're looking for the blue invade that isn't coming.
And High has gone with that Crystalline Flask on his Kassadin, backed by 3 more health potions. So he's just looking for that lane sustain until he gets level 6. He wants to soak up every single minion worth of experience until he gets 6, because before that point, he's going to have a fairly hard time in lane.
Well, then good luck to you, good sir. Can you dodge a lay waste? Can you dodge a ball? Can you dodge Twitch arrows? We'll see who ends up getting thrown against you. Dara's going to recall back. He's clearly not going to be the mid laner here. We'll see where he ends up going. Looks like Wild Turtle Special going to take the bottom lane. They're going to help the odd one grab his blue buff. Reggie's going to hold mid, so full standard lanes here. Actually, for both sides, we look at this. And these guys are going to play completely straight up. Not even any real mind games with the jungle either.
I think all the AD carries and supports down bottom have a lot to do with the added weight that teams are putting on that early dragon. So they want to have as many members in the dragon vicinity as possible.
Yeah, Cloud9 won't have to force a lane swap to put balls back up there to the top lane away from dragon when that does spawn. So you're right, the dragon really helping to shape some of these lane compositions. High now, 1v1 against Reggie, puts the silence down. They're trading blows so far. Medius, of course, actually shared XP with balls on the way to the blue buff. So interestingly, I feel like they might have expected a 2v1 because Falls is still jungling with Medios.
At this point, they've got full vision of the dual lane bottom, so he knows it's not a 2v1 situation. But I believe you're correct, and they were expecting TSM to be the ones looking for the old 2v1.
So interesting, kind of mind gaming themselves, I suppose, just a little bit. Falls going to make his way up top. Of course, most of that wave had already dropped out. The Avon has already grabbed his buffs up here, so his jungle pattern's been nice and done. 244, double buff on to the odd one.
So Dyrus hits level 2 first and does not press the aggression as quickly as I thought he would. A normal top lane strategy is to shove your lane very quickly so that you can get that early level 2 and take advantage of the level discrepancy. Level 1 to level 2 enables you to win trades very, very easily because the extra ability at that point in the game means everything.
Absolutely right, but he learned the stun, wasn't able to push in too hard. We still watch this mid lane. Of course, Reggie was the one to push first. He's level 3 right now to High's level 2, and we'll watch how well High can last hit on turret. He's at 10 minions right now to Reggie's 15, and 19 minions spawn in the first 3 waves, so we'll see what the mark is after these waves are cleared out.
And Kassadin, before he hits level 6, doesn't have that threat that everyone talks about being the counter to Karthus. It's not until he gets the gap closer that Reggie has to be scared. Reggie, with so much experience on Karthus, is fine until he does have to worry about the combo of a gap closing Kassadin with a jungler.
It's interesting, actually, you talk about Reggie's knowledge in the mid lane. After the game against Curse last night, Voyboy, actually in the bottom lane, we've got a gank going on first. The Elimination dropped low, 400 HP, but the re-engage coming back. Odd1's gank didn't happen to do much but burn some flashes, which might just be worth it in the end. They get forced back.
This is pretty much the story of most Cloud9 games, where the opponent jungler comes, does this fairly successful gank where they get at least one flash. In this case, they got two. And Meteos has been farming his jungle the whole time. So it's a trade that they take very often. Lane flashes for a bit of extra Meteos farm. And then when Meteos does come to gank, he's got an extra level on the jungler. And if it turns out to be a counter gank situation, they come out on top.
Yeah, so we'll see if Cloud9 can make that pay off, because for the next 4.5 minutes, they're going to be a little bit weaker down in that lane. And now to finish the story, though, about Reggie, so after the game against Curse, Voyboy was kind of upset. He was laning against him 1v1. It was Zed versus Ari, if I remember properly. Yeah. And Voyboy was like, dude, I lost that lane so hard, what did I do? And Reggie just told him, like, dude, it's about potions. Like, you know, you have to lose for the first 3 levels and just try to last hit with Qs, and then after 3 or 4, you can start aggressing, right? You didn't open up with enough potions, so I had an easy win. Like, I just islanded you on 2. I just, like, explained the matchup to him and told him what he did wrong, what to do differently. So I like seeing that, the camaraderie from the players on different teams, on rival teams. And you got players like Reggie explaining, here's what you could have done better to beat me when we meet next time. It's cool to see with these guys.
Reggie is such a benevolent mid-lane overlord. He definitely...
Top laner.
Yeah, oh, excuse me, top laner, top laner. That was some top laner to top laner advice. Very heartfelt.
About the mid lane.
Yes.
I suppose lane swaps do happen now and again, so can't call too much into that. Sneaky, level 4. Again, actually tying pretty closely with Wild Turtle. You're seeing both of them in the mid-30s right here. Both these AD carries. Cloud9 without flashes, but it seems like they're not being pressured nearly as much. Their wave is starting to push, though. They're starting to get to the point where Odd1 can gank, and lo and behold, there's an Odd1 lurking into the brush.
Now, the thing is, he didn't gank through the route that has a pink ward. He ganked through the lane, which is actually where the ward is. It's usually in the river, but instead of going past that pink ward, he gets seen out by this one, and nothing's going to come of this.
Yeah, you look at Cloud9 playing nice and far back. The seeds are down, as you pointed out, helping Lemonation spot where Xpecial is, and Xpecial goes for the hook, lands it onto Sneaky. Can he do enough here? Goes for the flay, puts him into range of Wild Turtle, slow lands as well, puts the lantern down, keeping him in range. Sneaky dropping dangerously low. Now, boy, oh my god, he stood in the turret range for too long. Oh! Sneaky does get killed, though. Requiem doesn't quite do enough, but still a 1-for-1 trade. Very interesting one.
1-for-1 trade, but the first blood went to Cloud9, and Reginald also had used his Requiem. It didn't even award him the kill or the assist on that. So, large cooldown, not available for Cloud9, and that allows High to have the advantage in this lane. He can actually look for roaming, whereas Reginald won't be able to help that lane that High roams to by adding his Requiem damage now.
And one other thing to point out about that, too, is that he got that. He used the Requiem about a minute before his blue buff would have spawned. If he had been able to wait a little bit longer, he would have 20 cooldown reduction for that ulti. So even longer cooldown than otherwise would have happened. Odd1 starting his second major jungle clear now, though. Level 5. Meteos already 6, so as you pointed out, time spent ganking versus time spent farming. Level advantage here for Cloud9. We'll see if Meteos turns that into much more. Shows experience on the big blue golem. We'll see where he goes next.
Now is the time where Reggie would have to be worried, but High is actually going up top next with that blue buff, looking for the gank onto Dyrus.
Moves on forward. Dyrus able to jump away, though.
Now, Dyrus, he didn't have the normal ward here in the river. He only had that very deep ward at the blue buff. So it looked like he was, avoiding that gank just on instinct, but he knew there was a Kassadin somewhere in the area. And if you're looking for it, you can see that Rift Walk over in the Fog of War.
Wow, so well done there. Noticed he was coming across. Well played here by Dyrus. Holds back up in the lane. Of course, spots High back in mid. There's the hook coming out from Xpecial. Not quite landing on a Sneaky. Elimination does have pickpocket. I just noticed the 3 gold show up. So Lemon trying to harass, earn a little bit of bonus gold by hitting his opponents. Not too bad for him. We're seeing Wild Turtle just go back to the farm lane. And actually, by the way, I gotta point out, TSM built a big minion lead now in the bottom lane, 64-50. The extra pressure that they had from maybe the odd one sort of ganking a little bit has built a gold lead here.
Plus some very nice hooks been landing from X Special. Here, that's the difference that means everything. There's the initiate.
And he jumps right on in, pops the ulti. X Special has nowhere to go, and goodbye. But here comes the counter gank. Odd one is coming in. Meteos forced to take the Shen ulti in order to, I guess, save his passive. Otherwise, he's going to be safe. So Ball's now out of the top lane, though. Meteos recalling, but Dyrus getting time alone with this turret and minion wave.
That's really good for Dyrus, yeah. He's going to catch up, extend that minion lead, and they're going to get a lot of damage on the turret. So even though that giant cooldown of the Shen Stand United wasn't necessary for the kill, still burned it, and they're still going to pay for it. Dyrus is actually in an okay spot against High right here, and he should be okay.
He can land the stun as well. Pops just wants to go full dive, forcing the flash away from High. And meanwhile, TSM just going for it in the bottom lane. Gets killed and still takes a dragon down. Now Dyrus forced to run from High, flashes over the wall, and High, he's not done, goes for the silence, but now here comes a counterattack from Dyrus. This actually could be a win for Dyrus. High's losing a lot of health right here. There's the Requiem. High wins the duel, but Reggie gets some gold back for it. And an assist goes over to Dyrus.
With that dragon pickup too, TSM now have the gold lead. And without High's roaming threat on the map, it frees up this bottom lane to continue to pressure Sneaky and Lemon under their turret. So they're going to lose out more minions to the turret hits and extend that gold lead.
And Reggie got a fresh blue buff as well off of High. So that's another big advantage gain there. He got the refresh, so he's going to have a heck of a lot of mana, a heck of a lot of cooldown reduction. He can chain those together as well, so that's all going to be fun and scary. AD carries going for different builds here, though. Sneaky adding in a BF sword. Good damage there, going towards the Infinity Edge. Wild Turtle, though, is going to play that more assassin-based Blade of the Ruin King build. See if he can catch someone out with those fights. Whereas Cloud9, of course, at least as far as the AD carry is concerned, looking for a little bit more of a concerted group effort.
Now looking for another roam here. Crystal Arrow hasn't been used to set this up.
Yeah, they did use the Hawkshot, though, and that alone was enough to scare him away. So TSM backing off, realizing that, yeah, Meteos is holding the mid lane. High must be somewhere else.
High is not getting any advantage of this matchup that they wanted, the Karthus versus Kassadin, because as soon as he hit the point where he can actually abuse Reggie in lane, he actually left the lane and kept on roaming. So Reginald has not only got that kill when High was roaming, but he's also been able to freely farm both the lane and the Wraith camp.
Yeah, and you're seeing the reward for that. 97 minion kills. The jump in on the Wild Turtle route does not land. Great Lantern there from X Special. The engage comes in from the odd one. Dunks in on elimination. Elimination forced to run away. The double ulti coming across. He will burn down, though. Now here comes the re-engage from Meteos. Let's Bounce comes across. Who do they focus on? Looks like it's a split between Ava and X Special, and it's not enough. Wild Turtle forcing Cloud9 away, and that's all they really needed here. Looks like no roaming coming in from the rest of the Cloud9 squad. So, well fought here by TSM.
Yeah, just getting that gank in before Stand United comes back. Very well timed from TSM. It's all about keeping those timers of the long global cooldowns.
And well done. Now Reginald, by the way, an 11-minute Rod of Ages is making him pretty hard to fight as far as High is concerned. And High hasn't found the other openings. The hook lands. Sneaky's not in a good place. Forced to pop barrier. Turtle's going to say, all right, you know, never mind. I'll just ride this Lantern on out. No big deal. Ball's still fighting up against Dyrus. Dyrus with a kill and level lead as well. You're seeing Dyrus with a lot of MR on that build as well. He's in a pretty good place.
Again, we're going to have another Renekton looking for that Spirit Visage very early here to take advantage of you know, that cooldown reduction and magic resist, which scales so well. So many top laners. It's become so important for a lot of these people to rush that one because of all the magic damage in top laners now. I went with a really good steal.
Yeah, High had actually pushed Reggie out of lane, forcing him to exhaust as well. Meteos took a little bit too long to get to his own blue buff. Really well done by Ava to steal that one away. Dyrus even came down to support a little bit, made sure nothing funky went down. So good job here, TSM, making their own way in. You see them up 800 gold. They've got a buff steal. They're starting to get control of this map. Reggie is just going massive, which is exactly what TSM wants. What's his name? Dyrus is actually winning his duel up against Balls. but now with Stand United back available with High looking for a flank on bottom lane. It's going to get tricky.
Another roam for High here, and they actually can make this one happen.
Oh, Wild Turtle, you've lost so much HP. Sneaky with the longest arrow. That's not his ultimate. That's going to be one picked up. The knockup's going to land. High forced to jump away, taking a bit of punishment there, locked into the Cataclysm, but there comes the Stranglethorns. Damage onto the Alban. Shendel comes by as well. Will it be enough? Looks like Balls will make his way in. The engage comes across. Alban goes down. Special going to drop as well. Reggie in the middle of the enemy team. He will die. Has access to Requiem, but I don't think High is low enough. Reggie's actually going to save the ultimate and say, it's not enough damage. Huge fight for Cloud9.
The roam finally pays off for Cloud9, and an amazing Stranglethorns there from Lemon Nation. Here's the Crystal Arrow combo that's just so deadly in that bottom lane. That's why everyone keeps ganking this bot lane, because the Ashe in here. And High actually baits in the odd one. Great Stranglethorn. There it is, zoning the entirety of TSM to buy time for Shen and Zach. Look at that 3-man. Oh no, Reggie had flashed it, but he still got taunted anyway. And it was just a perfect counter gank there by Meteos and Balls coming in to answer.
Man, that wealth of crowd control is so dangerous. You talked about how risky it was for them to play with low mid-game damage, but it seems that you just stun them for long enough, and if they can't fight back, I guess you'll win anyway.
That's the one thing about Ashe lanes. People say that she's not that great in the duo lanes, but that's not taking into account that it's a team game, and she's like the best AD carry to go gank for, because she can almost always set you up for a very easy gank, and that's what Cloud9 play to her strengths by continually sending both High and Meteos down there for ganks.
And the proof is in the score. Look at that. Sneaky hasn't sent an arrow outside of his own lane. He's not been helping other lanes. He's 4-1-2. 6 kills have been in his vicinity, because that's where Cloud9 keeps going. You're right, they're making the pushes there.
Another arrow hits.
Damage in onto Wild Turtle, but there comes the jump in. High is around. Wild Turtle has stealthed up. Special, though, not in a good place. Kill picked up. Now, will they find Wild Turtle? The stealth has ended. He's not sneaky enough. Sneaky picks up the kill.
The river vision there is really key for TSM, because High keeps on getting in behind that duo. Meteos just looking to clear out those minions, by the way. He's not looking to fight that one. Waiting for the rest of his team to join.
But I mean, you look at his build, Ancient Golem, Ninja Tabby, and a Ruby Crystal, compared to the odd one, who had been spending time ganking, compared to Meteos who's spending time farming. Meteos gets to jump into 3 guys like that and say, yeah, right, deal with it, I'm Zach.
Not only does Meteos have all that extra farm, but they just got a turret, so that's more global gold, and then a dragon. 2 global gold objectives going to be taken here for Cloud9. All they have to do is ward off TSM and poke them to protect this dragon pickup.
And here we go. Odd one forced to run away. Great dragon picked up right here. Dyrus now into the battle. Gets silenced, gets slowed down. Does C9 have the chasing potential? No Ashe arrow up. Flash in from Meteos. That's going to knock Dyrus back, but he's going to jump right back out of that one. Stranglethorns will knock up Reginald. Will TSM continue to fight? No hook's going to land for a special. Dyrus still towards the front, but looks like the battle is stopped.
TSM definitely wanting to answer for those 2 objectives that they just lost, but they just can't convert, especially since the great disengage from Lemon Nation right there.
And now we see the builds mature and the game progress, the matchups. Who's scaling up? Who's doing the best? Well, the 6-1-2 Sneaky, that's a pretty big part of this one. Already has the Infinity Edge going towards the Zeal. No kill found in mid lane. Good lantern pulling Reggie back, so he's still safe. But it seems that all the babysitting for that AD carry of Cloud9 really starting to pay off. We've got a massive ADC. His arrows back up. High's roams, they found True a couple of times now. He's up to 5 assists. He's been making 7 of the 9 kills for his team happen. It's starting to kick in for Cloud9. They're getting farther and farther ahead.
They're definitely making a good use of the control that they have over the mid game. And it's up to TSM really to stop that role, because there's no more objectives left on the map to really fight for them. So it's very hard to actually answer, and they have to control themselves. You saw them getting a little bit over-aggressive there, trying to use a lot of their spells and summoner abilities to try and answer. But they have to be very cautious with that and know that they can't overextend.
No, caution then going to be the game for these guys. TSM, the top lane, still in the battle. Balls and Dyrus both level 12. Dyrus healing up with the Cold and Meek, still in the battle there. Another steal coming in for the odd one, but C9 are ready for this. They're lurking around in the shadows, coming across the wall, and says, You better walk away. This is going to be ours. But High, fully caught out, jumps away, stun lands. They're just going to go in onto a special. 1 kill picked up. Now Wild Turtle's not in a good place. He's going to go down as well. Cloud9 making battle start out of nowhere. And now Reginald, caught in the back lines alone, jumps in, tries to find Sneaky. Sneaky's going to flash out of that one. Requiem comes across. Awen's going to go down. Triple kill now for Balls' Shen. Massive fight right there. 4 dead for TSM. Only High's been dropped down. Cloud9 goes for Baron.
TSM all typing worth now. They got their target, High is down, but they definitely did not come out ahead in that one. So High uses both the Riftwalk and Flash to avoid the catch, and then immediately turns it down with the Crystal Arrow and Shen staying united. Very, very well played here, especially from Balls, landing that very timely taunt. Dyrus, in the meantime, had went to try and stop the Baron and sacrifice his life, which is a good decision because 1 kill, definitely much easier for TSM to swallow than a Baron.
But unfortunately, that does bring that fight record to 5-1. Only High had been killed by Cloud9. They got 4 in the initial engage. They got Dyrus just then stopping it. So you're right. No capitalization for Baron. No turrets, no dragons, just a few clean kills. And that's probably the best that TSM could hope for that one. You gotta say, well played by Dyrus. However, Cloud9, they've just been every minute and a half saying, all right, we're going to play aggressive again. It seems they're playing around that sneaky Astral Ultimate, saying it's up, all right, let's pick something out. Let's find the battle. Even High getting caught turned into a Cloud9 fight. He got CC, and they're like, just go on it. Just use the globals. Fight, we'll do well. And Cloud9 keep turning things into advantages.
They seem to have the positioning of the rest of their team always in a spot to be able to counter TSM whenever they actually do pull off a pick. And it's because the TSM team is not specifically built for getting those picks. So whenever they do find one, it's them being already seen by the Cloud9 wards and not really having the upper hand.
So just unfortunate stuff then. TSM not finding the openings they were looking for. A couple of, I guess, missed Reginald ultimates. One of them, they died too fast a couple times. Just a little bit too much health left over. Unfortunately, have not found those same openings that Cloud9 have. So High back to his lane, farming up the matchup you talked about, getting the Cassidy up against Karthus, then roaming away when he wants to. High has stayed there, right? Reggie hasn't left his lane except to look for fights. He's just been playing the farm role, and it's worked. He's got 160 minions. Reggie's scaling up, but as you said, the matchup for High is so good. It's allowed him to move around. It's made a lot of these openings. So Cloud9 just, again, playing those matchups, the 2-on-2s, the 1-on-1s, and then leading when they have to.
And Cloud9 have a very magic damage heavy team, so the Aegis of the Legion that the Odd One is working on right now is a very important item threshold that TSM need to hit before they actually want to fight another team fight. They just keep on bleeding gold and objectives if they keep on fighting without the rest of their members getting more magic resistance.
Let's see if they can get that up in time and get the team fights to do a little bit better here.
He just finished it.
Yes, all right, Aegis is there. The team going to survive that magic damage a little bit more. Now only Sneaky has remained as powerful as before. See what ends up happening. Wild Turtle still getting the farm. 164 on him. I got to also point out Dyrus up to 202. He has been playing the farm game for quite a while. He's getting huge. He's going to be unkillable soon enough. Well, close to it.
He'll be hard to kill.
Yeah, hard to kill, not unkillable.
Wild Turtle going in. Looks like he does not want to pull a submarine, though. They don't have Shen to back him up. So, oh, Crystal Arrow to the face.
Jump on in. Reggie down below half HP. Shut down onto Ash. That's exactly what they wanted. Now, can the fight keep on going? There's the Requiem. High. Low on health. Gonna get out. Meteos, though, dropped low. Gonna try to jump away. Cataclysm, not enough damage. And the red belt's not gonna be quite enough either. Awen's still trying to run in forward. Wonderful job by High, but he's low on mana. Riftwalk's going to cost 500. He does not have that mana yet. Awen lands one attack. There's that final Riftwalk. He's burning down 50 HP. Lantern reveals the fog. High still going up north. TSM has to deduce that's where he's gone by now.
He's got to suicide himself.
Oh no,
he's going
for
the escape. Special. No.
He tried for the escape. Did not find it. Kill picked up. That's actually a better trade for TSM. 2 for 2, I believe. And with some shutdown gold, that's actually quite nice for these guys.
That's delicious for Special. He'll take that gold and double buff any day.
Yeah.
All right, so let's keep track of High in this one, as we'll see him come back at the very end to assassinate Twitch at the end. First target for him to assassinate is Reggie. That's the high priority one. That's why they picked Cassidy, was to deal with that Karthus, get him out of the picture very early. And then since the person that they caught was Lemon Nation, he bought a lot more time by throwing down that Stranglethorns.
No, but he's been caught for real this time. One more Q from Reginald's going to get that one. Dragon does go to Meteos, though, in the meantime, but now he's caught up and alone. His passive is going to get procced. He is going to die out. So 2 kills and a lost passive for a Dragon. Pretty reasonable trade there. There's death number 1 of 40 for Meteos. They're getting there. It's actually given Cloud9 a Dragon lead. And also to point back to the prior fight, Reggie was the one getting the shutdown on the 500 gold for Sneaky, so he's becoming a force here, that Karthus.
And the turret in the mid lane here does not stand a chance. TSM able to get one objective to answer for that. Will be a small token that will slowly get them back into this game. Wild Turtle also gets a lot of farm down in the bottom, but he's got to be careful because Ashe has her Crystal Arrow ready. If she gets stunned inside, especially vision of the turret, then it could be dangerous.
To be fair, TSM has actually built a turret lead. They're 2-1 up. It seems that Cloud9, because the one team fight looked for Baron and it got stopped, they're going for Dragons a lot. They're actually not controlling a lot of the buildings on the map. TSM are legitimately winning in turrets, and that's a good way to stage a comeback from as well. You're not clearly ending the game yet, so it gives them a lot of room to fight back.
And we can look, there's still a couple more bounties for them to get as well. They could grab that bounty off of Shen as well. If they take down Balls, it's another 500 shutdown. So the kills are going to be even more important for TSM to pick off.
And they're only down 5,000. It's definitely a gold lead we've seen. I mean, we've seen much larger gold leads, drawn back. So you got to still consider TSM's got the option here. They've got some great late game scaling with Karthus and Twitch. The blue buff going to go their way. Nothing stolen out. Xpecial also with the Oracle's Elixir, so he'll be playing the Vision game. TSM now have to plot their comeback in this game.
For right now, they're content to try and farm 2 lanes and just maintain Vision over the Baron so that Cloud9 don't pull anything sneaky.
Looks like they're not going to just yet. A lot of wards starting to come across the map. Special.
Gotta be careful, Crystal Arrow does hit Reggie.
Lands on a Reggie, silence, knocked around. So much damage coming across. Reggie is gone. Great arrow lands there. That immediately disengages, doesn't want to fight her with the file.
You cannot be out of position against this team. Sneaky's so good with those crystal arrows. Reggie didn't stand a chance.
And beautiful job. They use the Zyro plans to tank 2 turret shots, and it's all it takes to push in and knock the turret down. Cloud9 now equaling the turret kills. They're up 17-8 in champion kills as well. Looks like now at 25 minutes, Cloud9's like, yeah, we'll start pushing.
Definitely is a bit, slower game for Cloud9 than usual, as far as the towers are concerned, and a little bit more heavy on the kill side here. They've definitely been focusing on killing TSM, and a lot of that comes with returning to that Ashe lane. Most of their kills have been set up by crystal arrows.
Yeah, and that bottom lane turret can only die once. I mean, you can get all you want, but that you're still not getting the turret out of it. I mean, that might explain all the dragons they've picked up, but yeah, they've never ganked for balls, really. They haven't ganked a whole lot mid, so the turret's going down ever so slowly, but making the way across the map. But look at Wild Turtle. So we talked about how well Darius has been laning, right? 267 to 229 against balls. That Renekton's a big, scary raid boss crocodile. Gonna be hard to deal with. Wild Turtle, though, now being donated a lot of the spare farm. They're trying to get him to catch up as well. He's got 2 completed items. The Blade of the Ruin King Phantom Dancer is going to start putting a lot of poison down. A lot of that % health damage is going to come across. Something to definitely be concerned about here for TSM.
Yeah, the poison application is actually overlooked a lot when considering Twitch's damage. That's why he's gone full attack speed here, both for the poison application and the flat attack damage that he receives when he uses spray and pray. Benefits it a lot from attack speed as well.
So interesting little bit of differentiation builds. Actually, by the way, between the two of them, they pretty much covered almost every attack damage item that 80s typically buy. We've seen a Bloodthirster and a Mercurial Scimitar, and they've actually covered the full spectrum. So I like that they've just completely...
Hey, Black Cleaver, how about that? We can count Graves in there.
Yeah, I guess...
He'll once in a while pick that up.
All right. Misfortune, too, especially if you're Genja. The Venn diagram of 80 carry items, just Berserker's Reeves in the middle. We'll see where these guys end up going. Sneaky and high, pushing down towards the top lane.
TSM looking to go for this. They ping out.
See if they can find it. Dyrus, though, tanking all the cooldowns. He is extremely beefy. The arrow onto Twitch not going to do much. beginning of the battle. Here we go. Dyrus still in front. Reggie taking some flak as well. The backline assassination has not happened. Dyrus taking all the cooldowns, does go down. Now is the re-engage. Reggie flashes forward. Double kill so far for Sneaky. Odd1's going to walk out. Here comes the Requiem. Will it find Mud? Triple kill still for Sneaky. And the battle continuing on. They're going to land some more slow. Sneaky is not done. He is chasing. One more attack for Special. Gets it. Quadra kill. Will they give him the Penta onto Wild Turtle? Wild Turtle flashes away. And Balls is not going to make this one happen. Little chuckle from Wild Turtle and says, hi, I'm sneakier after all.
Denied Sneaky the Penta. We have to shout out that, though, the Crystal Arrow hit the invisible Twitch. So that was a lot of TSM's damage that wasn't there while Dyrus was tanking all of Cloud9. You could see how Cloud9 were able to take down Dyrus so quickly. Wild Turtle runs into an Oracles.
And delayed pentakill right there for Sneaky. Nice attempt, almost getting the kills, but unfortunately the tanky men were there.
Felt bad for him. Oh, whoopsies. I'll go and feed that one to you. All right, so it started out with Dyrus. Now, look at that arrow onto him. Now Dyrus is tanking a whole Cloud9 team, and Midos is doing the same thing for TSM, but without the AD carry damage. So that's why Dyrus is dead here first. And after that point, the two tanks of Cloud9 were just too much for TSM to handle. Requiem even going off is just too late because they weren't able to get the damage down on the low members of Cloud9.
Look at the blind guess. Wild Turtle was invisible when Meteos stunned him.
So he can judge the speed at which Wild Turtle was moving when he last lost vision. And, you know, he's taking basic physics, so he calculated out the distance that would be traveled in that time because he already knew the speed, actually, and the direction. So he knew the velocity of that twitch.
Stole it from me. You've already played against Velocity 4 times. You saw it because I was like rearing up like I was making a joke, and you snuck it away from me. Play Velocity 4 times in a season, you learn a thing or two. There we go. The guys moving forward. Baron, of course, has been taken. They've got 3 minutes still left on that buff. 22-8, 12,000 gold puts Cloud9 ahead. They're pushing the lanes out. They've got some more out of turrets. Soon some more out of turrets drop down. They're still only at 2 so far. Midos gives High a blue buff. They're pretty much taking everything on the map now.
And since they're back to Stand United available, then they're going to do the classic 1-4 split push here. Very, very, very hard for TSM to counter-engage on Cloud9 right now. They have to wait for the dive and then really, really hope for a good lockup onto Sneaky.
See if they can do it. They're gonna, ooh, almost got elimination. They engage on to Reginald. He's gonna get hit with the Let's Bounce. The arrow lands as well. And there's the full dive. The Shadow comes by. Sneaky caught up pretty low though, taking a lot of damage, goes down. 2 kills picked up for TSM. This might be too much though. Cloud9 taking a lot of punishment, but they're still lurking around on the outside, getting out of range. Karthus has finally died off.
They killed all the damage of TSM though.
Xpecial gonna get hit. There's the Zonias. They're gonna re-engage. Xpecial's gonna go down. The turret not killing Balls quickly enough. Dyrus, can you bruise through this? The Shenton from Balls. He kills the odd one. Balls walking out of the turret and he's just fine. They're just refusing to die.
Need a timer on how long Cloud9 were tanking that turret because they took that turret damage the entire time plus fought on top of Requiem and they still were able to finish it off.
And the Bruiser team here. Dyrus going to look for the re-engage here. 1 versus 3, down to half HP already. He's going to run away from this one.
Dyrus coming in hot,
as well.
Gets spanked and has to return.
Leaves hot as well. Ignite on him as he trails away. And Reginald going to clear this away. They have saved the inhibitor though, so Dyrus' heroics did keep that alive.
All right, so let's look at the dive here. Good job of just starting it off, and then they chain the Siege C onto Reggie and immediately take him out. They then are going to still have to fight on that Defile with the turret shooting them though. That's just how tanky Meteos has gotten here. And after this point, yeah, it's a 3-on-3 with a turret, but the key members of TSM are already gone. The damage is not there, while High still has his damage and his Zonias, able to take out Xpecial, turn that and the numbers in their favor, and the odd one, not quite as tanky.
Just enough sustain right there. Well played by that Cloud9 squad. No, they can fight under the turret. These guys still building themselves up. 13,500 gold. Puts Cloud9 in the lead. Wild Turtle still trying to scale up. Looks like a Last Whisper going up next for him. Unfortunately, he's still a full item behind Sneaky, who's 13, 3, and 9. Out of the Bloodthirster. There we go. Venn diagram nearly done now. We've added one more item to the left-hand side. It's getting more and more complete here. Balls, of course, actually adding his own Blade of the Ruin King. So also a damage threat here. The tanks are becoming very threatening.
They need to have more sources of damage as we progress through the game. At the beginning, we talked about how they were focusing all on control, and they were going to be lacking a little bit in the damage area.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to put some of that damage on in a few unconventional places. And coming from Shen, attack speed is actually a very good stat on him because it scales very well with that passive.
Beautiful stuff here. High also lurking in the shadows. He doesn't find that pick just yet. It's something that's worked so well for Cloud9 in this game. Dyrus jumps in on the balls. Probably to defend the turret.
Takes 0 damage almost. Heals that back up very quickly.
Yeah, shield's pretty strong. Dyrus is sustained pretty good as well. Both having a Spirit Visage makes that one a bit easier. And here's the push back in. Cloud9 knows this is an open inhibitor for them. High pushing very far forward. Puts a silence. And the siege has begun. That inhib's dying very quickly. And it looks like TSM will not fight and engage here. Wild Turtle invisible, just opens up, clears away the minions. Ball's still on the top side, splitting against Dyrus.
There's no way that Dyrus is going to be able to do anything besides maybe interrupt the Stand United. So TSM are pretty much going to have to hope even for a 4-on-4 with a turret hitting because they can't actually take up any straight up fights.
Doesn't seem like they're going to be able to here. Now up to the inhibitor turret. Dyrus lurking around in the shadows. This could be a 5-on-4 for a few seconds while Cloud9 waits for balls. No hook yet landing for Xpecial. No knockup from the odd one.
So Cloud9 are going to be looking for the arrow onto Wild Turtle because not only does he not have Cleanse, but he has not got a Quicksilver Sash yet either. If they can put any number of CC abilities into Wild Turtle, then it will be very easy for them to dive a turret again and have the exact same outcome.
And you can just see them wearing them down over time. The Oracles from Lemonation making sure that TSM remains blinded outside their own base, has no ward control. Balls and Dyrus just slugging it out at the top of the map, trying to get rid of this turret. Balls will finally take it down 7-2 in turrets, and now here comes the push towards the mid lane. 3/4 health in the turret, but they're just not engaging too hard yet. They're playing it slow, playing it safe. Cloud9 poking from the distance, waiting for their opening.
Looks like we're going to have a few more seconds to wait here as High does go down to get that blue buff from TSM's jungle. But we'll be back into action extremely soon here. You know, he's got Rift Walk. When you have blue buff on Kassadin, you can actually charge up Rift Walk stacks that cost more mana but do more damage. And so if you have a very ballsy mid laner like High, he'll start to use that Rift Walk for damage and be jumping onto people and going just very man mode and right into the fray.
Yeah, and all the summoners are up for these guys. We could always Rift Walk in and flash it out. We've seen it a couple times from some of the best Kassadin players in the world, but Cloud9, every cooldown available. Item, summoner, ultimate, all of them up here. TSM actually in a very similar scenario. Actually, Wild Turtle lost his flash. He got caught up in the mid lane, forced to run away, and wow, explodes. Balls just destroying. Sorry, actually High and Meteos making it go down, and the battle has continued. A huge Stranglethorn's knockup there, and Reginald's not going to live very long. He is back to undeath. High, though, not in the best place either. He's going to go and actually survive this one with his shields. Already had used his Zonias. A lot of deaths here for TSM. Dyrus forced to revive here. Won't find Lemonation. No deaths still for Cloud9, and they've found 3 of TSM. They're inside the base. Cloud9 still on the push. Onto the Nexus as well.
Kassadin with a Seraph's Embrace and a Zanya's Hourglass. So incredibly annoying to lock down and deal with. No wonder he was able to man up and go so deep. He had plenty of shields and invulnerabilities to rely on.
And the last push in, killed and off. The odd one Xpecial will go
clean
down.
Ace.
Yes, full ace coming across. Cloud9 taking the game home in style, 31-11 in 37 minutes, proving once again they are the #1 team in North America. Meteos will take the record for highest KDA by a freaking lot. Yeah, very well played game by Cloud9.